Keyonte George's jump this year is mammoth, and it couldn't be more important to the future of the Utah Jazz. It flat out changes everything. Next on Locked On Jazz.
You are Locked On Jazz, your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
How are you? I'm David Locke, and thank you for making Locked On Jazz the Locked On Podcast Network, the number one sports podcast network. How are you? I'm David Locke, radio voice of the Utah Jazz, Jazz NBA insider. This is Locked On Jazz. It's your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz, giving you insight, expertise, geeky numbers, and hopefully making it way better to be a Jazz fan each and every day. Thank you so much for making Locked On Jazz your first listen. Thank you for making Locked On the number one sports podcast network. And thank you for jumping on. We are free and available on all podcasting apps as well as on YouTube. Today's show is brought to you by Game Time, the Game Time app. Get the Game Time app, get access to all of the games you need to go to, and by using Locked On NBA, get $20 off your first purchase. Everydayers out there, you're the greatest. Hope you, to the members of the Everydayer Club, I believe you got a special leaf to lean about A.J. DeMonce's incredible performance against Clemson. Hope you got that. Special welcome to Derek Peterson, who's now a member of the Locked On Everydayer Club as well. Special thank you. And welcome to Hank Nelson and to David Anderson, parts of the Locked On Everydayer Club. All access members, great to have you aboard. And you can do that at lockedonpodcast.com/everydayer. All right, today's show, we'll finish with points gained as we always do on a Thursday. We will discuss a hidden success of the Jazz season that no one is talking about. We are starting with the dynamic of how Keyonte George's success this year changes absolutely everything. Let's remember where Keyonte comes into the season from. Keyonte is basically a 39% shooter from the field. He's a 31% shooter from three. He statistically, as we talked about all summer, is kind of on the edge. He's not into the, call it the black or red, where you're like, oh God, there's no chance. He's kind of on the edge the whole time. When you run statistical models, his effective field goal percentage, which is a more modern number, was kind of near 50%, was about 48%. And if you kind of looked at the history of guys whose effective field goal percentage was below 50%, you could find a few guys that busted through and made it. He's got his effective field goal percentage up to 50% this year. Really what he's doing is making his twos right now. He went from making 44% of his twos to making 51% of his twos. He went from his three-point shooting is actually right on his career average, which is still not good enough. It's at 33%. It needs to be at 35 or 36. So you have to believe a little bit that he's still going to get there. And he's gone from taking 4 free throws to taking 7 free throws a game. He's gone from averaging 17 points to 22 points a game. It's there. It's a little more fragile than we're talking about, to be totally honest. If the 2-point shooting suddenly regresses at all to the 46 or 45% that he was a year ago, the 2 years, then the 3-point shooting has not vaulted him up enough to make him efficient. So that is the biggest change, but he's also finishing at the rim so much better. He's changing the way he's approaching it, and some of those misses are now becoming free throws. That's what going to he's getting fouled probably on 2 more shots a game than he was a year ago. And so instead of having those be misses, they're now free throws. That makes a really big difference. His rim finishing was 59 his rookie year, 61 his second year, and is now at 69%. He's also going to the rim much more than he did. His little short mid-range game has jumped from 42% to 48%, and his long mid-range game has jumped from 34 to 41%. Those are massive jumps. It's great. Some of them feel a little high. The one that's interesting is his above the break three is sitting at 32%, which is exactly the number it's been his entire career. So that to me will be interesting. He does need to become a better 3-point shooter than 33% for this to all come together. But as of right now, it really feels as though Keyonte has taken this massive jump. And that when we talk about what we talked about with Cody and Taylor, that the Jazz entered this season and they had 7 guys and they had to figure out which 2 or 3 of the 7 guys, not necessarily find out this year, but in this process of the build, we've taken big swings. Justin Zanuck talks about it all the time. We've got a lot of swings, and the swings allow you to have to hit at 40 or 50%. And that's what we talked about yesterday is once a draft is dead, as I call it, or done, then you're at about 50% or a little bit below in hitting. And the Jazz have generally drafted after drafts are dead, other than Ace Bailey. So Ace Bailey doesn't count in this group. Ace Bailey has to hit. You cannot have a rebuild, have a pick inside the hot part of a draft and miss. That's not an option that makes a rebuild work. So when you look at Keyonte and Bryce and Taylor in that draft, you're hoping that one, probably 2 hits. Probably 1. When it's a 9, a 16, and a 28. When you're looking at Cody and Isaiah and Flip, you're really hoping one of them hits. And when you're looking at Walt Clayton, you're hoping maybe he can hit. And you're hoping you finish this thing with 2 or 3 guys that are rotation NBA players. There's 2 things that are happening here with Keyonte. One is he seems to be one of the 7. That suddenly alleviates some of the concerns on the fact that a 10th pick like Cody Williams does not seem to be heading in that direction, or that Taylor's injury rehab, as expected, is taking as long as it should. As we talked about on yesterday's show, that Keyonte's burst alleviates some of that. The second thing that Keyonte's burst has done is Keyonte's looking like he's bursting like a starter, not just a rotation player. That's a big deal, because inside of this conversation of the 2 or 3 of these guys have to hit, you're going to need 4 or 5 bona fide big-time players. Keyonte looks the part right now of a big-time player. That changes the game. That changes how the Jazz approach this moving forward. Now, if Walt Clayton or Isaiah Collier can become 24-minute-a-night guards, that's a success. Because Keyonte, by looking like a 32-minute-a-night guard, is giving them the leeway there. So that's huge in this, is that he looks like a starter. Now when you try to piece this thing together down the future, you've got Ace who's a starter, you've got Lauri who's a starter, you probably have Walker who's a starter, you have Keyonte. Okay, now we're looking for we can get specific to what we're looking for. Is there, a free agent or someone who's a scoring wing guard that can match what we're doing? And then, Clayton can fit in as a third guard. That's kind of what he seems to me like the perfect. That's great. Isaiah can fit as a third. It's perfect. You're not asking them to be 32-minute. So Keyonte's jump alleviates a huge amount of pressure. Back to the Mark Dagnall conversation of yesterday. How do we find them a way to be efficient and impactful in a narrow role, and then see if they burst at the seams? Those narrow roles now also look like something like, okay, that could be a nice player for us. Same thing with Taylor. Like when we talked about Robert Covington yesterday, if Ace continues to develop, it alleviates some of the pressure of what we need out of Taylor. That's really the biggest thing that Keyonte's done, is now other players can play in this role as long as Keyonte is this bona fide starter. And it sure feels like it. It's a massive jump. It's incredible maturity. It's really cool. And by the way, happy birthday to Key. November 8th was his birthday. He's now a grand 22 years old. And so he's still a baby is my point on that. So I think that that's where that's most. The other one that's really, really big here about this with Key is I could argue that if Key flopped this season, it would have set our rebuild back as many as 2 or 3 years. I'll explain that next on Locked On Jazz. Today's show is brought to you in part by Woodward. Fun per foot ratio. That's efficiency right there. That's having an impact. That's being efficient. And that is Woodward Park City. It's second to none in fun per foot ratio. Just 20 minutes from Salt Lake, right on the other side of Parley's. Going over Parley's is not that scary. Woodward offers experiential learning in a radically fun and safe environment with facilities for all abilities. The door is always open to first-timers and regulars alike, from bounce from the parks to the pits to the ramps to the tramps and back again. It's so fun. You drive by on 80 and you can just see everybody having a blast all the time. Mountain Park season passes are now on sale for $4.99. You can rip hop laps with a posse after school into the evening. Maximize mountain time this winter at one of the best terrain parks in Utah all season long. They're working hard with their snowmaking, so it is ripping right now. When I drove by yesterday, people were having a blast. I saw the kids coming from Wildman School, walking down to Woodward to have their afternoon. It looked awesome. The All Access membership provides that, from passes to perks, discounts, and more. Just starting out, learn to fly with the Woodward Tribe and seasonal multi-work programs that build skills, confidence, stoke-inspired environment. Just 20 minutes from Salt Lake, Woodward offers experiential learning with facilities for all abilities. You can learn more at woodwardparkcity.com. The all-new Winter Mountain Park Pass, $4.99. You ride all season long. Wasatch Best Terrain Parks. Get the absolute best value of your winter. It's all there to maximize mountain time. Easy in, easy out. No pay to park, no shuttle to the mountain. Could not be easier. It's all at Woodward Park City. Today's show is also brought to you by Game Time. That's right. This summer is going to be awesome because the World Cup is coming back to North America for the first time since 1994 with 48 teams. It's going to be massive, but let's be honest, getting tickets is usually the hardest part. So that's where the Game Time app comes in the clutch, finally giving fans a real advantage when it comes to snagging seats. Game Time can track price drops in real time, give you alerts when great seats open, and it can buy tickets the moment they hit the app. It puts the power back in your hands and makes going to the World Cup realistic instead of impossible. You pull up the app. The layout is easy and simple. Pick the game, tap the section, have the tickets located within minutes. No confusion. Seat View gives you the confidence, and the price guarantee. All fees up front make all the difference. So take the guesswork out of buying World Cup tickets. Every match, every concert, every event, it's with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. That's $20 off your first purchase with Game Time with the promo code LOCKEDONNBA. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Game Time. Thanks so much for making Locked On Jazz your first listen of the day. We have launched the brand new Everydayer Club. 2 parts to it. Everydayer Club entry ad-free. You get Locked On Sports Today exclusively, the audio edition, the only way you can get it. It's our national show. You get access to our Discord channel, which has been super fun while games are going on, and you get ad-free. All Access Club, one-on-one interactions with me, exclusive text messaging back and forth, exclusive daily newsletter sent to your inbox, exclusive content, all access content. I'll do some bonus episodes along the way. Plus, Leaf to Lean is getting you ready for the NBA draft with draft breakdowns throughout the week, newsletters, special episodes like you did on AJ Dumbanza. It is all at the All Access Club. The All Access Club is $15 a month or $150 a year, and the Everydayer Club is $5 a month or $50 a year. If you have Spotify Wrapped with Locked On Jazz on it, post it on social media and at Locked On Podcast Network, you get first month for free. That's if you have Spotify Wrapped. Post it on social at the national account at Locked On Podcasts, and you get the first month to try it out for free on our All Access or our Everydayer Club. So Everydayer or Everydayer All Access, please join. Love to have you aboard. I'm super pumped about this. If Keyonte George had busted, I think the Jazz had to really consider trading Lauri Markkanen. If we were at this point, Keyonte George was shooting 37% from the field and 30% from three, and we're like, he can't make shots. He's not an NBA player. Then all of a sudden the Jazz look at their cover and they're like, okay, Keontae's probably not going to make it. We're not sure on Taylor because of injury. Bryce is, I think, going to have a real chance to make it, but to be one of the 7, but he's probably a rotation 20-minute-a-night player who can shoot it, come off the bench and really score it. Really good, like, bench score. Not sure on Isaiah's shooting. Flip seems like maybe, but probably Kelly Olynyk. So that's a 15 to 20-minute-a-night guy. Now, I think Flip could do more. We'll see. But just let's say that's where you're analyzing the franchise. If you're Justin and Austin, Cody, you can't bank on that right now, and you're not sure on Walt. And so suddenly you're looking like, oh, we got maybe 3 guys, but they're all 20-minute-a-night guys. We don't have a starter. We don't have, and now you suddenly put Lauri into the marketplace, wondering if you can go get, as oft talked about, a Jaden Ivey. Maybe you're talking Jonathan Kuminga. I don't really think so, but maybe Maybe you're talking any of these other spots because you now need a piece. You now really need another swing to make sure that you're going to have a 25 to 30 minute a night player out of those 7 guys. But the fact that Keyonte looks to be that 25 to 30 minute a night player means you're not under the same urgency or frankly desperation or concern that you have to go trade Lauri Markkanen. And if you trade Lauri Markkanen, it might turn out to be the right move somewhere along the way. I don't think so, but if it does turn out, you set it back 2 or 3 years. The way this thing accelerates quickly is you have Lauri, you have Ace developing, you have Keyonte, who turns out to be a starter, you have Walker, who's proven to be a starter, you're funneling a few pieces in with cap space, and let's go. And you draft another kid, and let's go. And Walt develops, and Kyle develops, and you've got 3 of your 7. I just picked random guys. And you go. You trade Lauri to get 2 or 3 other pieces and some draft picks, and you're going to have to get some pieces for $40 million. It's not an easy trade to make. We're not totally there yet. You're not going anytime soon until that kid hits whoever you just got, right? If you trade for, let's just use Jaden Ivey because he's off talked about. If you go trade for Jaden Ivey, well, Jaden Ivey better be ready to go. I mean, like go like Lauri go, like top 30, top 40 player in the NBA go. Key's looking like he's going to be a top 100 player in the NBA, which I was not entirely sure I expected out of any of these kids. But that presence of Key doing that, I think alleviates the one scenario where you really are in trouble in development and probably have to go really consider trading Lauri. I don't think you have to. That to me is not, if there's a trade that's so good you can't say no, then maybe you have to do it for the development of the franchise. But it's not as though you look at it right now and say, wow, even with Lauri, we don't have enough of our young pieces coming around. No. One of them came around. All right, let's get to the hidden gem of the season, which I think will be hard for a lot of people to grab. I saw Jazz Notes wrote an article on this. I thought it was an interesting angle about Svi and how somewhat Svi playing is a sign that other guys haven't progressed. I think that's fair. I don't think anyone expected Svi to start this much. Svi is one of the grand successes of this season because the way the league works now, you have 2 things you have to do. The salary stuff is very restrictive. And you've got to find a way to get 240 minutes of basketball. And if Svi has proved anything, he is 20 to 25 minutes of a solid NBA rotation player. He is also on a 2-year non-guaranteed contract at a club option at an incredibly good number. So Svi is making $3.6 million this year. He is not guaranteed, but he makes 3.8 next year, and he makes $4 million the year after that. The Jazz have him signed up for 2 more years. What the Jazz have created out of a 28-year-old Svi Mykhailiuk this year is that they now have 2 more years of guaranteed salary at an incredibly reasonable number in this league. And he is a rotation player when this all works. Like when you start to build your 9-man rotation of this taking off, let's go optimistically. It's Keyonte. It's a free agent we sign. It's Ace Bailey. It's Lauri Markkanen. It's Walker Kessler. It's one of our younger players, Kyle Filipowski. Let's go with Kyle. And he's under $3 million. He's at $3 million as well. We sign a 6th man who's really good. One of our Walt Clayton comes around and it's Svi Mykhailiuk and maybe Yusuf Nurkic. Like that's your 10-man rotation to get you 240 minutes. Nurkic is a little different because he's unrestricted free agent. You got to figure out what you're signing him. He's 31 years old. He's got his deficiencies. Backup center shouldn't get paid. All sorts of problems there. So maybe that's not the answer, but you got the concept. But Mykhailiuk is a part of that 10-man rotation at 22 minutes a night in a way that is a great find for the Jazz. Yeah, would it be nice if Bryce Sensabaugh, Cody Williams, or somebody else had developed so fast that Svi Mykhailiuk didn't have to start? Yep, it would be. But in the meantime, Svi Mykhailiuk is a massive success for this season. Trying to find off the NBA scrap heap, if I'm without being rude to Svi, but that's kind of where he was. Trying to find a guy off the NBA scrap heap who you can have under player contract control for now 3 years, but 2 more years at a number under $5 million is pretty awesome. I mean, Kyle Anderson is a $9 million player. George Niang's an $8 million player. To get someone at 3 in this business is almost impossible. So that's a great find by the Jazz front office. Well, actually, if they can find 1 or 2 more, that's worth doing. And they've tried, right? Jaden Springer. We've tried all these guys. But that's what you do. You take swings at these guys, and most of them don't pan out. Jaden Springer's not in the league anymore. We had like 3 versions of Jaden Springer last year. I can't think of who they all are. But late first-round draft picks, you don't pan out. You give him another shot. Svi's just a guy who's been bouncing around. Somebody had him in Boston, knew he was a good dude. Now he's turned out to develop and play, and he's shooting 36% from 3, and he's defending his ass off, and he executes perfectly, and he's cheap. And that actually really matters. So that's a hidden success of this season that's a big deal. Because you don't have to fill out that piece of your puzzle right now. And I, by the way, didn't include Bryce Sensabaugh in that rotation of players. Probably very easily could. And again, so this is, we're getting closer, but it goes back to Key's jump, makes this all very, very possible. All right, points gained. We'll look at Keyonte's jump over the 3 years in points gained. I'll explain points gained a little bit to you, and then we will roll and look at the rest of the league as the Spurs upend the Lakers last night, and Oklahoma City just humiliated Phoenix. Oklahoma City's absurd right now. It is next on Locked on Jazz. Today's edition of Locked on Jazz is brought to you by Quo, like status quo. Quo is, I've said this a lot of times when talking about Quo. It is the company that I super wish we had when we started Locked On, because we didn't. And so I just used my own personal phone number all the time. So New Year's and new systems. And this time, when a lot of us look at the messier parts of running a business, there's a better way. This is where Quo comes in, Quo, the smarter way to run a business communication. So you want to make your workday smoother, keep your customers connected without the headaches. Quo makes upgrading your setup easier than ever. 1, it's a streamlined system that makes you such a big difference communicating with customers. 2, having calls, texts, voicemails in one clean view keeps everything organized. 3, being able to share one team number that's not your own makes it so much easier than to make sure nothing gets missed. And the AI summaries and call logging can feel like having an assistant keeping track of every detail. Surprisingly easy. So make this year where no opportunity and no customer slips away. Try Quo, Quo, for free, plus 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/LockedOnNBA. That's quo.com/LockedOnNBA. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. Today's show is also brought to you by ZocDoc. That's right. It's 2025. Well, almost 2026. And those days of waiting for someone to become a full-blown emergency before you see a doctor, that's over. No more walking it off for 6 months. No more pretending that weird shoulder stiffness is just sleeping wrong. It's time to get your health, take your health seriously. And ZocDoc makes it easier than ever, because staying healthy is more than hitting the gym or eating right. It's actually getting things checked out when something feels off. Using ZocDoc makes scheduling easier. Search for your in-network doctors and book right in the app. Real appointment times are listed, including same-day visits. No more back-and-forth phone calls or waiting weeks to be seen. Super helpful for routine checkups and even those little issues that have been meaning to get checked out. So let you compare providers, usually real patient reviews, not ads. I tell you, this is like such a great idea, because how many times have you just knocked onto something because you didn't even know how to get started? It makes it simple to keep your health a priority, even with a busy schedule. And you schedule appointments quickly. You don't have to wait for weeks. It helps you stay on top of your health before something becomes a bigger. The app is quick, clean, honest, and removes all stress finding the right doctor. It's all at ZocDoc. So stop putting off doctor's appointments and get your care you need. Go to ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNBA to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor day. That's ZocDoc. ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNBA. ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNBA. Thanks so much for making Locked On. Oh, looks like I've been doing yoga for an hour and 33 minutes accidentally. Guess we'll be discarding that workout somehow. My heart rate's probably higher now than when I do yoga. For those of you who are not on YouTube, I suddenly looked down at my phone and saw it was still timing at an hour and 33 minutes. The morning yoga was good. It was only 30 minutes, not an hour and 33. Anyway, points gained. Points gained is our exclusive offensive metric. By the way, October 20th, Orlando Magic game. Kevin Pelton coming into town. We're doing a special stat cast on Jazz Plus. So Scotty G will be doing radio, and I'll be doing a stat cast. All right. Points gain is our exclusive offensive metric, and it counts two things. One is the efficiency by which you use a possession, and two, and that is based on points per scoring opportunity. Two, how often you get a shot off. Because actually getting a shot off in the league is hard. So let's look at Keyonte George. In the 23-24 season, in Keyonte George's rookie year, Keyonte George's points gained. So this means, and I'll see if I can explain this adequately for you. In Keyonte George used 12 scoring opportunities a night. And in those 12 scoring opportunities, Keyonte George was minus 1.1 points below what average offensive scorers would do with those 12 possessions. Okay? So Keyonte's a minus 1.1 in his first year in 12 scoring opportunities a night. That's actually not terrible for a rookie guard, just to let you know. Like, it's not terrible at all. That actually was a pretty encouraging sign in some ways, because rookie guards are usually really bad. And we can look at this year and you'll see that the rookies show up there all the time. Then the next year, Keyonte was a minus 1.1 in 15.5 scoring opportunities. So he used 3 more scoring opportunities a night, went from 12 to 15. He was still minus 1.1, which actually means he's a little bit more efficient because he's using more scoring opportunities. But it didn't show any development. Again, not terrible. And this is where I kind of was on Keyonte the whole time. Like, some of the numbers aren't good, but it wasn't horrific. And then this year, Keyonte now using 19 scoring opportunities a night is at 0.1 league average. It's really good. It's good for a guard. Not like really, really good, but it's good for a guard. And it's where I'm saying he's still teetering a little bit. Like, if some of these numbers that in 20 some odd games have suddenly become, go away a little bit, like the 2-point shooting or some of these other things, then yeah, you could see Keyonte's numbers slide pretty quickly. And really, he needs the 3-point shooting to get up to 36%, kind of as I said earlier. Some of these are intuitive. Because then he would be getting closer to 1.0. All right, if we're talking guards in the NBA and what they do in points gained, so for this season. So Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's at 4.9. He's absurd. That's usually there's 10 guys in the league there's 3 or 4 guys over 3, and there's about 10 guys over 2 per night. This is how many points you score more than average players in the NBA would with your scoring opportunities. So 2's a lot. So the guards in the NBA right now are Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 4.9. Austin Reeves, 3.8. Tyler Hero in limited time, 2.7. Norman Powell, 2.7. Might be why the Clippers are struggling. Donovan Mitchell, 2.6. Steph Curry, 2.5. Anthony Edwards, 2.4. AJ Green, very underrated, 2.2. Luka Doncic, 2.1, which is really good for him in his career. Jamal Murray, 2.1. James Harden, 2.0. Sam Merrill, 2.0. Don't underestimate the shooter. Denny Advada, 1.9. Isaiah Joe, 1.6. Pure 3-point shooter. Ayo Dosunmu, 1.6. Cam Spencer, Memphis Spencer, 1.5. And this is where we would like to get Keyonte, frankly. This is the air. Lauri's at a 1.3. Just to put in perspective, he's basically a guard. A powerful one. Zach LaVine's at 1.2. Trey Murphy's at 1.1. looking for, this is where the guards fall off. De'Aaron Fox is 1.1. That's where you'd like to see Key. And if he can get his 3-point shooting up to that level, then he would get there. So that's the next step for him. Well, nothing else slips off. But we're seeing that progression. For the Jazz this year, Walker was 3.7. Lauri's 1.3. Svi Mykhailiuk is 0.4. Isaiah Collier's 0.4, which is really good for Isaiah. Keyonte's 0.1. Kevin Love's even. Kyle Anderson's even. Kyle Filipowski's a minus 0.2. Walter Clayton's a minus 0.2. That's really good for a rookie. Bryce Sensabaugh, minus 0.5. That's interesting, right? So we want Bryce Sensabaugh to be that shooter in the AJ Green, Sam Merrill type. He's only shooting 34% from three, though, this year. He's got to up that number. Taylor Hendricks, minus 0.6. Ace Bailey, minus 0.7. Just never goes to the free throw line on Ace Bailey. Ace Bailey, where's my percentage of possessions? Ace Bailey's going to the free throw line at 3.9% of his possessions, which is a stunningly low number. Svi Mykhailiuk is lower, but that's why Ace is not efficient. Cody Williams is minus 1.5, and Yusuf Nurkic is minus 1.6. One thing on Keyonte, percentage of possessions going to the free throw line, his rookie year was 9, which was a pretty big number. Again, it was why you kind of always felt like there was a chance this was coming around. Then his second year was a 10.5. I talked about this a lot in the summer, that had increased. And this year, Keyonte is going to the free throw line 13.4% of his possessions. That's huge development. That's how he's becoming more efficient. That's how he's doing it. So pretty cool to see. All right, that is Locked On Jazz today. Thanks very much for tuning in. Tomorrow is an Ask LOJ edition. Everydayers in the All Access Club get first questions in. So I'll send you a note out, and then you guys send me your question. Those on Discord, you can send them to me on Discord, or you can send them to me through our text line. Just text me and let me know. If you have not joined the Everydayer Club, it's at lockedonpodcast.com/everydayer. Again, All Access gets one-on-one communication with me, in-game notes, scouting report notes on Memphis, all sorts of other stuff. When I get my prep done, you'll get, and you guys are going to have to share with me, you get the All Access exclusive episodes. You get the All Access Leaf to Lean breakdowns of college basketball and of the draft coming up for you. That's all in our All Access program. So make sure you check that out at lockedonpodcast.com/everydayer, and ad-free Locked On Sports Today and Discord coming to you for $5 a month. The other is $15. Thank you very much for tuning in. I am David Locke. Tomorrow we do the Ask LOJ edition on a Friday from beautiful Memphis, Tennessee. Right now we send you the first ever national 24/7 channel, Locked On NBA. And if you're on audio, check out Locked On NBA Game Night. Every game, every night.